So again, welcome to the Study Abroad 101 session. My name is Andrea Morse, and I am the Interim Assistant Director of Study Abroad. All right, so to get started, by the end of this session, you will have learned or understood the process to research, choose, apply to, and prepare for a study abroad program. You've seen the typical timeline for the process and identified key resources to help you in the process. So the first thing to think about when you're interested in perhaps pursuing study abroad, and now I'm happy that all of you are here today. There's a lot of you on the call, and that's great news because I know we really haven't been able to study abroad for quite a while now. We're excited to be sending students in the fall, and I know a lot of students are really preparing for spring 2022. So that's obviously one of the first things that you're probably thinking about right now when trying to plan a study abroad program. But to take you through the process is one of the first things you want to consider. Thinking about identifying the priorities and parameters. Think about what are your goals when you study abroad. You want to think about some of the academic, professional, and personal reasons. So in terms of academics, I always ask students, do you want to go abroad for your major related courses or your gen eds, or would you like to do a mix of both? And it's always helpful when you can save some of your gen eds and take those when you are abroad because it provides you with just a bit more flexibility. Also thinking professionally, and obviously our academics plays into that. Maybe you want to do an internship when you're overseas. A lot of our programs provide unpaid internships, or maybe you want to go abroad to do an international co-op. Maybe you want to do research. And also personally, what's going to work for you in terms of the other thing, time frames, what works in your family life, and when's the best time to go in terms of, do you want to go for a semester or a short-term program? So a lot of the different things to consider there. There's different program types, and the program types, we have semester programs and academic year programs. So if you want to go for a longer period of time and learn more about the culture while you're abroad, or do you want to go for a short-term program? We have short-term faculty-led programs, and about 75% of our students go on short-term faculty-led programs. And sometimes it fits a little bit better into their program plan, or maybe you haven't gone abroad before and you'd like to travel with a Stout professor. That's a really great option for you. Then thinking about the different classes and credits you want to take. Again, kind of goes back to your major or gen eds. Do you want to, you can study during the summer, you can take 3 credits, you can take 6 credits, or do you want to try and even fit in 9 credits in the summer? Time frame. Again, we talked about a little bit about that. If you want to go for a semester academic year, do you want to go in the summer versus the winter, or a fall or spring semester? And budget out is always something you want to consider. We have programs for a variety of different budgets. And we also have domestic programs that might be a bit more, on the lower end in terms of the cost. But we have great exchange programs as well that provide scholarship opportunities. So there's programs kind of all over the board and something a little bit for everyone. And also location. Do you want to go to Europe, or do you want to go to Asia? Do you want to go to Central or South America? Language, do you speak the language? Or, maybe you want to go to a country that where English is spoken. But what I always tell students too is, so many people in other countries speak English. So if, say, for example, you went to Greece, there's actually American College of Greece where all the courses are offered in English. Or maybe you want to go to Germany. Anywhere you go, the courses are going to be in English, but there's a lot of people there who speak English and have the ability to switch, easily back and forth between their their native language in English. So even if you're in a country that doesn't normally speak the English language, you're not necessarily going to be completely lost. And host institution features. So, you know, do they, what kinds of classes do they offer? Are there large classes? Are there, you know, smaller classes? Do they offer a buddy program? Where are they located, in a large city or smaller city or a town? So there's different features you can consider, and then identity as well. You know, we have actually a lot of great resources on our website for different identities, LGBTQ, different ethnicities, and I'm happy to share that website that will give you a lot of great information for you to read over and things to consider before you go abroad. One thing you want to do is an initial search of options. On our website at UW-Stout.studioabroad.com, you can go directly to that website and begin searching by a variety of different ways. We have you can search by program type, time frame. We have buttons on there for summer or winter or semester programs. Or if you want to search by country or by your major. And determine if you are eligible for your top choices. If not, you can make a plan to become eligible. So for example, maybe you want to go to a school that requires a 2.75 GPA, and your GPA is not there yet. You want to make a plan to get your GPA up so that option or that school could be an option for you. The typical GPA that's required for the programs is between a 2.0 and a 2.5. We also look at conduct in order to determine eligibility for a program. So every student who's applying for a program, their name is sent over to the Dean of Students office to do a clearance. So you want to make sure that you're not on probation and those kinds of things. Your class standing. Some programs, a lot of our programs, it's usually, when you're a sophomore, it's pretty good time to go abroad. There's a couple of programs that might require you to be a junior, either a junior or a senior, but there aren't too many of those. But you just on the program website, on the overview, it does mention that class standing, and also if there's any prerequisites. Do you have to especially for our faculty-led programs, if you have to have a particular Stout course before you go on that program. So you just want to look at all the prereqs first. And you want to meet with all the important people in the process. So obviously it's a good idea to meet with a study abroad team member. We can help take you through all the different options and all the different things that you should consider when you're planning to study abroad. And you can also talk with a faculty leader. If you're going to be going on a faculty-led program, you can learn more about the program that way. And talk with your academic advisor, your program director, to figure out the types of courses that you may need. It's good to kind of help plan out your program a little bit. I met with a student earlier today who wants to go and study abroad in spring 2022 and wants to figure out what courses they should take in fall 2021 in order to have enough flexibility in spring 2022. So it's important to kind of plan ahead in that regard. And having those conversations with your program director or advisor are very helpful. And Advisement Day is the perfect time to do that. And also talking with your minor advisor, if you have a minor, to figure out how the courses will transfer back into your program plan for your minor. The transfer coordinator is located in the admissions office. Her name is Linda Young, and she's the person who will sign off on your courses when you kind of get them all figured out. There's actually a form in the application process called the Proposal for Transfer Credits form, and she'll sign off on that so that when you come back from your experience, she'll get your transcript from your overseas school and pull out that piece of paper that everyone signed before you went to figure out or understand how all of your courses will transfer into your program plan. It's also important to talk with a financial aid counselor to figure out how much aid you may have available for your program. And even if you're initially usually not eligible for financial aid, you may become eligible in the event that the cost of the program is higher and and that you need aid. Sometimes students qualify for aid if that's the case. So it's always good to look into that just to make sure. And talk with your family members, your loved ones, and your friends. Bounce ideas off of them. Maybe they even want to come visit you when you're abroad, when you're, done with your program, for example. But talking with them because they know you best, and talking over different ideas for programs and locations is important. And also talking with alumni. If you know other people in the program, although we also connect students with alumni, especially in during orientation. Before you go, you have a chance to talk with them, but there's events that we have during the year where you can connect with alumni. And actually a chance to do this is at 5 o'clock, there's going to be an Instagram live with 2 study abroad alumni. And that's a great opportunity to connect and ask any questions you might have. You can also narrow down your choices and compare the specifics. So, for example, does their academic calendar fit when you want to go? One example of this is Germany. Germany has very different academic terms. So, for example, if you wanted to study there in the fall term, they actually go to school from October until February, through February. So if you were just going to go for one semester, Germany would not be the best option for fall unless you plan to study there all year. But if you wanted to study there in the spring, you would be studying there from April to July. So that could be an option unless you needed to be back for an internship. So those are just some different things to consider. And again, when you meet with a study abroad advisor, we can help you sort all of those things out. The next one is, does it offer the classes you need during the time you're going? So not all classes are offered every term, especially if you're going in summer or winter, the courses may be a bit more limited, but still can be great options. So it's good to just know what's available in the term you're going. And also what is included in the program. Is room and board included? Do you have homestay options? Does this homestay offer meals? Or would you stay in a dorm, an apartment, or what other assistance do they provide in helping secure housing? Do they provide airport pickup? Some programs do, and other programs provide you the information of where you need to go when you arrive at the airport. Do they offer excursions? Are there any flight discounts? And this would mostly be through, for example, our third-party program providers might provide some discounts or recommendations of where you could purchase flights. Are there any scholarships? On our website, and there'll be links a little bit later, but there's a long list of scholarship options we have on our website, and you can peruse through all those options. Also, sometimes the particular schools and definitely the program providers that we partner with have a lot of different scholarship options. So it's good to take a look at those. Is there an internship option? A lot of our third-party providers, as well as, for example, our exchange program with Kansai Gaidai in Japan, offers internship options. Most of these are unpaid because of visa regulations in the other schools. But if you want to do an internship abroad, this could be a good avenue for you. And do they have a buddy program? Buddy programs are quite common, especially in Europe. I think Japan might have one as well. This is when they partner up a student from their university with an incoming international student. In that sense, you would be the international student, but they would, or the exchange student, they would partner you up with that person, and they help you with answering questions. You might go out to a coffee shop, or that person may introduce you to their friends. And so it's a good way to get connected to students at the other university. And what is the cost estimate? Obviously, that's a very important question for all of our program. When you decide to study abroad, how much is it going to cost? All of our programs have cost estimates, and this is an example of what it would look like. And you'll see here where there is the billable subtotal and there's the non-billable subtotal. The billable is the top half here, and that's what we would charge to your Access-Stout account. So you'll see there is an OIE service fee of $400. And there's a program fee. So for what, I'm not sure what school this is for, but this particular school or program charges a program fee. This is the tuition, the services they have. There's an UW-Stout fee. And this is what you're already paying with your laptop and other technology services that you use. And then UW system insurance is required for all students who are studying abroad. And then there's an emergency fee. So this is what the estimate of what we would charge on your Access Stout account. The bottom half is somewhat flexible. So there is an application fee that's charged during the application process. And there's obviously we need to get a passport. Now, if you already have a passport, you wouldn't have to pay this. The student visa, so whatever country this one is for, is you have to pay $450 for the visa. This is not completely common. This is a lot of countries you don't need a visa. Other countries it costs less. So I would say this is probably the higher end one that I've seen. So just know, if you have to get a visa or not. And we have resources on our website for that. Then housing is estimated at $3,000 for, this is a semester program. Meals are estimated at $600 and personal expenses. This is going to depend on how much you want to travel. I say it's also toothpaste and paper towels. Then airfare estimated at $1,300. And if you get a better deal, that's awesome. And then books, materials, and supplies are estimated at $200. And then at the bottom here, you're looking at just under $13,000 for the semester. Now, something to keep in mind is the cost that you pay at Stout for one semester is just a little over $10,000. That's when you're taking 15 credits. It counts for your room and board on campus, and then your personal expenses. That equates to a little over $10,000 a semester. So adding a little bit more and getting a semester experience out of that is pretty worth it. Now, when you are doing your application, you can complete your application. Obviously, you want to make sure you're completing it by the deadline, and you would select a program and do the application at uwstout.studioabroad.com. And you would either be applying with a provider, which a provider is called AP, their names are API or CEA, CIEE. Anytime you see an acronym like that on our website, it's a provider. We also have another provider called World Endeavors, and they have international internships. But those are our providers, and they take place of an international office abroad. So just like we're an international office, we welcome in international students. We help them, academically and getting them into the courses. We welcome them. We have orientation. There's excursions that are done with them. And so we help them with any questions they have when they arrive. So it's just the same. When you go abroad, you're going to be going, and an international office at the other university will assist you, or it will be the program provider. They take the place of an international office abroad, and they provide a full service option in terms of picking you up from the airport and just providing all those things for you. The application requirements, there's a non-refundable application fee of $190 that I mentioned in the budget earlier. We require a Dean of Students clearance, a statement of student purpose, and you want to make sure that the statement of student purpose is professionally written and academically focused. I do recommend that you maybe talk with the writing center if you have any questions on how you should write it, and making sure that you write a good strong statement, because this is important. So go to the writing center and seek assistance if you need it. Also, recommendations. We require 1 recommendation for faculty-led programs and 2 recommendations for all of our other programs. And financial aid notification. If applicable, if you're using financial aid, there will be a form you'll need to complete for when you meet with your financial aid counselor. And then there's a lot of other fine print documents that you'll read in your application. You read through them and you digitally sign off after you understand the information. And also the proposal for transfer credits form is what I mentioned earlier when you're deciding how the classes would transfer back to your program. After you've finished everything, then you wait for your notice of decision for your acceptance. You also want to make sure that you have a passport if you're applying for a program that goes overseas. And if you haven't applied for a passport yet, if you go to our website, and again, it's UW-Stout.studioabroad.com, click on the Start Here button and toggle over to passports, and you'll get information on how to apply for a passport. You'll need the DS-11 form along with supporting documents and a check or money order. And in Menominee, you can apply at the Dunn County Clerk of Courts. And right now it's taking 10 to 12 weeks. So if you're planning to study abroad in winter or spring 2022, you definitely have time to get your passport. But maybe this is something you want to concentrate on when school finishes, and either now or when school finishes, to make sure that you have that before you go abroad. And then you definitely want to research and apply for any scholarships that you're eligible for. I always encourage students to apply for anything and everything that you're eligible for out there. On our website, let's see if I can scroll in a little bit. As I was mentioning earlier, if you toggle over the Start Here button, you'll find many different resources that come up. The finances, the identity information, different program types. There's a lot of information if you toggle over the Start Here, as well as the passport and visa information. And these are the different boxes you can click on. As I was mentioning at the beginning of the presentation, there's a variety of different ways you can search. You can search for a program simply by clicking on this button and putting in a country, for example. Or if you search by major, you can click on this button, and all the majors that we offer at Stout are there. You find your major, click on it, and then all of the options will come up of everything all the schools that offer your program. Or if you think you want to study on an exchange, it'll bring up only the exchange options. Or if you want to study for a semester or academic year versus a summer or winter, then you click on the semester academic year option. Now, when you click here, this will bring up exchange options, and it'll bring up where you pay the other school's program fee. It'll be both. If you think you only want to study in summer, you click on the summer button. Same goes with the wind term, or if you want a faculty-led program, you click there and only the faculty-led programs will come up. There's also co-op and internships, or the National Student Exchange if you would like to exchange domestically, and virtual programs. So the virtual programs have become very popular during the pandemic. So our virtual programs you can find here. The next thing is you want to confirm whether any other travel documents are needed. So do you need a visa to go to the other country? I know offhand, especially if you're going to Europe, if you go to Spain, Greece, Belgium, or Italy, you'll need a visa, or Sweden, you'll need a visa. Some countries you don't need a visa. You also need it for Greece. I think I said that. You also need one for South Korea and Japan. So on our website, we have information on each of those countries and what is needed for them. You always want to maintain your eligibility and complete any post-acceptance documents and processes by the deadline. So once you have finished your application with Stout, I would go through, review your application, and then make a decision on that. If provided it's an acceptance, which more than likely it would be, then you would have access to see your post-acceptance documents. And that may be documents that need to be submitted to your provider or your host institution, because you completed our application, but then you would need to complete the other school's application so that you are in their system, you exist in their system, you have an ID number. So those are, and also that's how you get registered for your classes and things like that. So there'll be some procedures there that you need to complete after you have completed the Stout application. Then soon you'll be going through the pre-departure orientation, and then we will make sure that you are enrolled in the international insurance, which is called CISI insurance, and then also get you enrolled in your course. Looking at the timeline, I know this might be initially a little bit confusing, but I can kind of break it down for you. So say, for example, you would like to study abroad in spring 2022. The yellow area, the bright yellow area, is where you want to begin researching your programs. So we are here in March. We have Advisement Day, and you want to maybe select your program pretty soon. Now the P stands for apply for a passport. You can all the way up through maybe July apply for your passport, even in August if you haven't done it yet. But before July, apply for your passport. Now this orange colored yellow is working on your application. So here after March, you've decided on a program and you're working on your application up until October when the application deadline happens for the program. So here's the red area. In October is the application deadline, and V is apply for a visa, and that may happen all the way through December. Blue is where you're completing your different pre-departure activities, and then in January you are departing, or it could be February or March depending on where you're going. It could, if you're in Germany, going to Germany, it could be February or March, or Australia, it could be February. So that's kind of the general timeline there. So these are just kind of a little summary of the different resources for you. Again, our website is uw-stout.studioabroad.com, and there's a lot of different program information there in terms, every program that you go to has different tabs, gives you information on the academics, the accommodations, cost estimates, dates, and deadlines. It also has passport and visa information links, tips and resources for financing your study abroad, identity and study abroad resources, health and safety information, and also resources for family members. Our office is located in 70 Harvey Hall, but we are taking virtual appointments, and you can always go to this bit.ly link, Stout OIE booking, and you can book an appointment with us. And then if you would like to email us with any questions, you can always email studyabroad@uw-stout.edu. The financial aid office is located in Bowman Hall, and their email is provided here. The Advisement Center is in Bowman Hall as well. You can email them. And the Writing Center that I mentioned earlier may be helpful with your statements, located in Harvey Hall. And then the transfer coordinator is in Sorensen Hall. That's Linda Young. All right, that is the end of the presentation, and I'm going to actually turn off the recording in just a moment here, but I'd like to thank you for joining today, and I'm going to turn off the recording and then see if you have any questions.
Before you turn it off,